Royal Enfield, a British motorcycle company. It unveiled its first motorcycle in 1901. The infamous Bullet that we all know of first came into existence in 1932. Royal Enfield's association with India started in 1952 with the company selling 800 350cc bullets to the Indian Army. The retro style bikes have always been an aspirational product to the Indian market until recently.
The European manufacturers have always been known for building the most characterful and unique motorcycles. Royal Enfield is no different. But recently, Royal Enfield has been scarred for their reliability issues. The Japanese, however, are different. They are known for building reliable motorcycles. On one side, we have the European character. On the other side, we have the Japanese reliability. I wonder what could happen if you actually club the two. The air-cooled 348cc engine does 0 to 60 in about 2 years and 0 to 100 in about 10 years. Acceleration is not really the strong suit of this bike, so it's not a metric that is worth considering. Here's where the bike shines though. It has enormous amount of low-end torque and you need not downshift every now and then. It can chug along in low RPMs in pretty much any gear. The torque is so good that you really do not feel like going fast. Now, this is not really a problem. The engine is butter smooth. The clutch is one of the lightest that I've ever ridden. The gearbox, however, seems a little hard. I think it has mostly to do with the fact that the engine and the clutch are really smooth and the gearbox feels like it is catching up. Let's say you decide to go fast. The brakes are more than capable to give you the required stopping power. The levers are not long enough, but the feedback, the bite, and your ability to predict what is going to happen with the brakes is really good. I'm not a fan of the Nissan brakes that is there on this vehicle, especially the master cylinders, because from experience in the past, I've seen that the levers, especially around the master cylinder, it develops stiction over time. But if you maintain it well, it should not be a problem. The engine braking also contributes to the overall braking feel really well. At 5'5", the bike offers decent reach, not the best. The handlebars would have been better if it was slightly wider. The foot pegs are placed well. There is enough distance between the rider seat and the foot peg, and this will ensure that your knees are not really stressed in longer rides. The rider seat is long enough for you to move back, but the farther you move back, the more committed the stance feels. Overall, I feel that the stance of this motorcycle, the rider triangle and everything, is slightly more committed than the Honda Highness. Although the bike weighs 179 kilos, it moves around really well. You do not feel the weight of the vehicle when you're riding it. The handlebars are narrow, but putting on a wider handlebar would actually push the bike towards the nervous end of the spectrum. This is not something that you would want. I was expecting the bike to run wide everywhere, but it was really surprising the way the bike could handle corners. It builds good amount of feedback as you roll the vehicle, but I wouldn't really push the bike hard in long sweeping corners. The rider seat is long. It feels as though they've designed the rider seat for longer rides and the pillion seat for shorter commutes. The rear suspension is tuned really well. It feels very comfortable over bumps and potholes, but it truly shines over rough roads.
The way the bike looks and the way it feels has been balanced well. The headlamps are LED. The tank is wide and looks like a clean canvas of painting. I would definitely suggest that you get a PPF coating done. The grab rail is integrated really well into the design. The branding looks good. Visibility of the instrument console is decent. Not cluttered, adequate primary information available right there. Reading the secondary information, however, seems like taking an eye test. You would need a magnifying glass to read it. The mirrors are like our education system. Shows something that's behind, but not enough to give you a complete picture.
Threads on the tires are essentially to remove water on the road and ensure that there is good amount of grip between the tires and the road. This bike is not meant for off-roading, and this tire threads seems more like a design feature than anything else. The horn and the indicator switches are reversed, and it looks like they put a RH switch on an LH switchgear. It was so annoying that I wanted to rip it apart and rearrange it.
I like the proportions of this bike, and what a beauty. The color combination is also spot on. Have never been a fan of retro motorcycles, but this design right here is tempting enough for me to consider buying this. The fit and finish and the quality of components looks kick-ass. The color, material and finish on this bike, in my opinion, is best in class. Full marks there. If you have enjoyed this video so far, here's a small request from our side. It is okay if you don't subscribe, but please share this video with a friend of yours who will benefit from watching it. Do not forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook to be one of the early supporters of this channel.
Honda would have reused most of the components on this bike on multiple platforms. The handlebar, for example, is borrowed from the Honda Hornet. Is this a bad thing to do? Not really. The components on this bike have been tried and tested across platforms, ensuring better reliability. The bike costs 2.17 lakhs ex-showroom, which means the on-road price will be 2.7 lakhs in Bangalore. The service interval are also spaced well, and service cost is not that expensive. There is a catch, however. You will have to plan your services well, because you can service this vehicle only in the Honda Big Wing showrooms. These showrooms are limited today, and the waiting period can go as high as 10 to 15 days. At a price point which is similar to that of a classic 350, the engine offers a little more power and slightly better torque. All of this while weighing 15 kilos lighter. I have personally not been a fan of Honda. Well, that is until today. They are famous for building boring motorcycles. But this one is different. There are things that Honda stands for in terms of its character, and it fits really well in this segment. The Honda CB350 RS is one of the most calculated risks that Honda has taken. They are essentially giving you the engine performance and the design language of a Royal Enfield while making it more reliable. It is clear that Honda is taking on the Royal Enfield. Do you think that Honda can gain an upper hand in this segment? Let me know in the comment section. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, ride safe and Godspeed. ಮುಖೋಣ
ಆಯ್ತು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ.
ಹಾಂ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ? ದ Honda 350 RS.
CB350 RS ದಾ?
Oh, I've personally not been a fan of ಇದು ಆನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಲೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ ಮಚ್ಚ. ಆನ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲಾಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ನೋಡು.